Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so everything's going well today, man. It's been a little bit of a stressful day because I wasn't able to get a hold of my uncle till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and of course today's room day. But we had a conversation about what happened, and everything is perfectly fine. And of course over here it's the day where my friend is at the front desk, so I have absolutely no concerns about paying being a problem. I just talked to her right now, and everybody's in good spirits in the front office, and so am I. So I'm not upset at all. If anything, I just need to not stress. You know, when the Holy Spirit tells me things are gonna be fine, I tend to stress anyway. And I tell him, I'm like, it's no disrespect to you. It's just I don't know how not to. I really don't know how not to. But I want to grow in that way, and in hopes that when I get to a space where trust is more in my head, then I can just allow him to just make sure that everything is okay without actually second guessing that confirmation that comes my way. So that's really what I'm saying to you. But today was a little nerve-wracking because of that, but all in all, it's been a good day. I got a lot of rest because of it. I slept a little between like 1 o'clock and like 2:30, and I think my body needed it, even though I wasn't actually in that mindset, to be honest with you. I really wasn't. But you know, I think it's all gonna be good from here, man. I woke up, and because of also the delay, I was able to meditate, start the month off right. I don't know what it is, but this particular day, May 1st, I just really felt like it was like a intentional on my part to really reach out to God and just ask for him to prepare me for the week, for the month ahead. Not that I expect anything coming. Obviously with my uncle, he was saying that the budget is a little different, so I'm not sure how things are going to go from here in that regard. But other than that, I don't think there's really anything that would make me like think something was on the horizon, or that there's something special about this month any more than any other. But I just think, you know, I found myself reflecting on the previous month, April, more than I probably reflected on any other month going into the following month. I don't know what that's about, man. It's a different type of thing. It's just I'm not really that organized of a mind when it comes to that type of thing, to where I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, okay, the month that I had just now, what was I doing? What was my how did I reach my goals? How did I approach the task in my life? What just occurred? What just happened? What just took place? How did I do? How did I do? And so today was more of a reflection and evaluation of the previous month than maybe ever in my life. And so I just felt like the delay on being able to leave the house and get the money also allowed me to kind of reflect a little more and pray a little more and just ask the Lord to kind of cover me for this upcoming month, so that I'm as pleased with myself in this coming month as I was in the last one, because I am. I think April was a good month for me, for my fitness. Yeah, I took my shirt off this morning to shave my head, and my body looks better than it has in about 10 to almost a year. You know, and I know that I've cut out all of my eating out, and I've incorporated much more vegetables into my daily meal, more consistency with that meal, and then like cutting down on different portions of my food in the morning and stuff like that. It's kind of coupled that with the exercise and all of the different things that I've been doing, adding to my nighttime routine. It's really helped me kind of get the makings of what could be me getting in shape in order. And I think that is because of how intentional I was to pushing myself in April, not missing too many days of my Hunter's Blue squat work regimen, not foregoing opportunities to get out as much, taking advantage of the days that were really good in April weather-wise, and climbing the hill more in Hollywood in April than I have at any point since doing this. So you couple all of that, and then yesterday, I did more intentional walking with a heavy backpack. you know, filling up my backpack first and then going on my hike. Like the last 2 or 3 weeks, I really been finding myself able to kind of build strength, and yesterday was a big day for that as well. So this morning, all the work that I've been doing, fighting through fatigue throughout the course of the last 2 weeks, you start to really see what the work does. And so I just looked at myself and said, okay, March was a bad month for that. And so I went into April with the intention of reestablishing my commitment to consistency. I'm always looking to work on my body, but not necessarily intentional on not missing as many days. I just do it and know I'm gonna come back to it. But so that's kind of what it is. I just want to go into May with the same sort of optimism and focus and commitment. And so that's really what it is, man. Just working. And not only that, but I think a part of my mentality was, as I was meditating randomly, probably sometime in March, it came to me that God is trying to work on me in this season. The way I look at season is spring. I guess the springtime was a time that the Lord was trying to grow me up in some key areas, maybe you know, strengthen our relationship. I've been doing a lot more praying leading into April, that sort of thing. So I guess leading into May, I want to make sure my spirit's right, my commitment is right, my mind is right, and most importantly, that I'm continuing to grow as the Lord intends to assist me in growing. So hoping that I'm doing my part. And I think another aspect of this is also just having some really tough therapy sessions with Lydia. The last 2 sessions, which spanned back probably to the beginning of April, since it's been like every 3 weeks, I felt really challenged by both of those therapy sessions, which I think is a good thing. And I think it's like I told her, like, this is helping me in ways that maybe you can't see in terms of what the bigger picture is for what it is we're trying to do with my mental health. But for the overall process of incorporating evaluation and personal goals and certain standards for my behavior, that's what's actually improving. I may not be getting back to work and being so intentional on facing stress like crazy, but what I can say is my overall intention and my alignment of thinking has improved in some pretty good ways over the last 2 years of doing this therapy with her. So it's like, I think that has part to do with it too, just maturing and having somebody who's challenging me to face things in a different way, or try to approach things that maybe I try to avoid in a way that you know, kind of forces me not to be at peace with the standards that I've been keeping in that regard. You know what I mean? So it's growth. I think it's what it is that I'm describing to you. It's great growth that is in my heart for myself, love for self and improvement, so that in the event that any real changes and are forced into my life based on how I operate, based on finances maybe changing or whatever, that I might be able to approach it with so much more stability, so much more maturity, and so much more faith than I was able to going into this situation basically 1.5 years ago. And so, yeah, man, a lot of reflection, a lot of I'd say pride, I guess, being proud of self to a degree for how I've handled certain things. I think I still got a long way to go, and I talk to God about that as well. There's still things that I must address and must overcome in order for me to really be where I want to be. But just the same, you know, certain things that I was looking forward to addressing in that way are being addressed, and that's really what I'm saying to you. So, you know, just personal growth. I hope that my example is showing y'all that even as you get to a certain age in your life, you can still see yourself growing as a person or wanting to reach new standards and maturity. I think the idea is that you can't teach old dogs new tricks, but I think what I'm trying to show is you may be able to incorporate some new things in a person's life after that that old dog era begins. You can challenge yourself to be better, and you can also receive criticism or constructive evaluations of yourself from others in a way that inspires you to address what's being presented to you. And I think that's about as much as I can say for myself in that regard. And you just learn to appreciate the fullness of all that you are afforded, with freedom, the ability to lay your head down and take a shower, and all the different things that kind of are easy to take for granted. But when you're in my situation, you're always in a space where it could be not present if not for the grace of God and the grace of people that love you. And so having this beast as it is, and knowing that if all of that were to go away, I don't really have a way in the short term without rushing into some spaces that I'm not strong in order to fend for myself. And with that being the truth, I'm always appreciative of what it is I'm afforded. I'm always considering how much I appreciate the little things and the things that we often take for granted or think of as, I guess, we're entitled to, or what have you. And so when you look at what's going on in these places that are awful, genocide, stuff like that, Congo, all these different places where freedom is not afforded to everyone, and you see the conditions that they're living in, and you see the struggles and the stresses they're facing, the pressures that they don't have the privilege of being able to escape. You learn to appreciate what you have and desire their strength. I'm not going to use the word envy because I think that's related to something wicked, but you desire the strength that they have to be able to endure those things. And that, if we're doing life correctly, understanding how difficult times can get in your life, or how unprecedented difficulties can ultimately arise, we'll start wanting that more than we want some of the things that we've been taught how to desire in this life. And especially in the society that we're in, the Western world that we're in, we're taught to need things that make life easier, but not necessarily desire the strength that helps you through the difficult times that are coming. And so I think I would say I got that concept was driven home to me by Kay last year, and then communicating with her, whom I haven't spoken to in a while. But that whole friendship, one of the strongest things that I took from that friendship was to desire strength. And you're gonna pray for a lot of things and ask the Lord to make life easier for you, but do not forget to ask the Lord to make you stronger for the difficulties. And that's what she, I would say, taught me. I think I knew that was something to ask for, but I didn't have it in my practice for which to think it was something to desire until I met her, and she brought that to the conversation. And so I really appreciate that. I take nuggets from everybody, and that's what the next thought is. You just, a lot of times when I'm talking to my friend up here who's much younger than me, I think I come off as somebody who's looking to teach but not necessarily learn. And I remember when I was younger how much I believed I understood based on the natural wisdom in me and my experiences, and talking to people who were much older than me and feeling like they never thought they had nothing to learn from me. I remember that feeling where they would it felt to me that they would brush aside what it is I had to share so that they could bestow upon me the understanding of the experiences that they've had. And to a point that felt like I was being not discarded of, but kind of ignored. I've been sensitive to that type of thing as well in regards to children. I try to always acknowledge children. If there's a child that's saying, hey, I'm always gonna try to acknowledge them, because I'm cognizant of how young people can be brushed aside when they really have something that they want to share,
or their experiences, though limited, become so very important for them to share with you out of the love that they have for you or what have you, out of the pride that they have for themselves. And so what I've come to say is, and being intentional on respecting that, I believe you can learn things from young people just like young people can learn things from older people. I believe that just because you have more experiences doesn't mean that you don't have the golden experience that maybe they experienced in their short amount of time of living. You have a million experiences, but not that one. You have a bunch of wisdom, but maybe need to be reminded of that one. This is why I word K bringing the idea of desired strength the way that I did, because I may have understood it. It wasn't the first time somebody told me to ask for strength, but it was the first time that it clicked in my head that it was something to ask for. And that's kind of what I'm saying here. Kids can do that for you. You may already understand something, but you may need it brought to you in this era and worded in a certain way for which they're providing you. But if you discard of what it is that they say, or you don't think that they have anything to share with you because they're young, sometimes you can miss out on that opportunity. And as it pertains to my homegirl up here, sometimes I feel like I'm speaking to her as if I only have something to teach, and that maybe a couple of times I might have seemed as if I was discarding of her shared wisdom, or if I were to say something wise and she would retort to me, "You too, don't forget that yourself," I don't want to come off as the type of person who thinks, well, yeah, because I'm telling you, of course I understand that, and because I'm older than you telling me to keep on the straight and narrow ain't supposed to be considered because of your age or what have you. So I just say all that to say that listening to people who are younger than you or have less than you, maybe not in certain areas, may be in your best interest to take their advice. But as it pertains to life with lessons and lookouts and things like that they have to say, I would say take it seriously. I would say give it a listen. And I would say give it as much thought as you would give to anybody else that you would respect. Because God can use anybody, as we talked about a couple times on this channel. One of the most important conversations that's ever sparked and one of the more poignant thoughts in my mind came from somebody who was incoherent, likely mentally ill and homeless. They said something and it clicked in my head, and it brought about a change in my life. One of the most important things that I carry with me every day is something that I got from someone that I met who didn't have anything. A brother by the name of Abdul, who when I used to live in the Dunsmuir, Wilshire area, he used to sit outside of the Walgreens and ask for money every day. But he used to tell me, if you don't give up, I won't give up. And in the process of having that bestowed upon me, I have since used that in other people's lives as it was given to me. One of the most important gems that motivated me to keep going in life. He didn't know me well enough to know that there were times where I wanted to give up during that era in my life. He don't know how much that inspired me, knowing his position, to continue to keep going later on in my life when my situation got significantly worse. Long after I lost touch with him, those words still ring out positively upon me to say, I know he didn't give up, so I made a promise to him that I wouldn't. Now, if I was of the mindset that a person who doesn't have anything or someone who has less than me can't bestow anything upon me or shouldn't be listened to, I wouldn't have that gem that got me through some of the most difficult times. Very simple words, very simple concept, but it was the understanding that this is shared strength. You need strength, I need strength, so we both carry one another through the promise to not give up. That was powerful for me, and it kind of keeps me going right now. And I hope that the people that I've said that to receive it the same way. Pass energy through wisdom and good intentions from a person who didn't have much towards someone who had a lot more, who needed it so much that they did that. And so that's what I'm saying to all of y'all, man. Let's respect people who may be younger than us or have less than us to share with us whatever they have in their heart to share with us, because if they are allowed to do so, they may say the exact thing that you need to hear that won't only carry you through the moment you're in, but maybe in moments long after the moment you're in. may be able to get you through some madness, may be able to kind of steer you away from some sadness. And mind you, when it comes to people who don't have anything, who live on the street, they're experiencing things that, because of the depravity of their circumstances, you may not have a whole lot of experience in dealing with. They will tell you how to look out for certain things. They will understand how to survive things that you haven't yet experienced how to survive through. You communicating with those people or allowing them to communicate with you may bring about the understanding of how to survive the next chapter of your life. Unprecedented things that could be coming. Who knows? I don't speak nothing into existence, but life changes, man. And the more information that you have and the more wisdom that you gather, the more likely you'll be able to live through whatever's coming and be able to help somebody else do the same. So we talk about the wisdom to stand up and stand on what it is you believe in and not be compromised. I'm certain those things were taught to me by multiple people. Some may have had a whole lot. My mother and my father, people who I love and who cared about me a lot. Maybe it's just somebody who wrote something in a book that I read or heard it something in the song. But wisdom can come from anywhere. Just like poisonous seeds that deteriorate the mind can come from anywhere. So we do need to filter everything that comes our way, as well as everything that comes out of us through something that is above us, so that what comes out of us and what comes toward us can have what fruit is there for us to receive, without all of the poison that can be attached to it based on people's intentions or based on people's thoughts, based on people's doubts, based on people's mistakenness and ignorance. So just the same as you listen to everyone, so too filter everything through the Holy Spirit if you believe in it. And so that's really the thought, man. This is we headed into May. I don't know what's ahead, but I do know that in the country I'm in, it's a lot of changes being done above my head that are meant to silence my voice in regards to talking about certain things that go against a certain friend of the country that happens to control a lot of what's going on here. They're sending people who were born in this country away for supporting. They're sending people who have paperwork away for supporting against this genocide. And I tell you, man, I don't know what comes of that for this country. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't know what we're welcoming, what they, by way of their intentions, are welcoming into our lives. This is what I'm saying. I don't know. And a lot of what it is that may be unprecedented could be around the corner based on what we're allowing to take place in this country. People who are doing things they have no business doing, the people who really, really believe in God. And that, my friend, is something that I don't know what to do with other than to say, we got to keep evaluating ourselves. We got to keep filtering everything that comes our way and everything that comes out of us. We got to keep working on ourselves and being as thirsty for wisdom and knowledge of how to survive unprecedented things than ever before. Because unprecedented things could be coming right around the corner. I don't ask for the Lord's wrath. I don't ask for destruction. I ask for instruction from my enemies at this point. That was something that came to me last month that we talked about on this channel a few days ago. Because I know if the Lord's wrath comes, it's going to hit me, it's going to hit you. It ain't just going to hit the guilty, it's going to hit everybody. And so that's why I'm not of the mindset that we should be asking for wrath anymore. I put an end to that a few days ago. But that doesn't mean that it's not coming. I said all that to say that. That doesn't mean that just because I've come to the realization that I shouldn't be welcoming the Lord's wrath, that he's not already made up his mind that he needs to bring it down on us. And when you see how our government officials and the people behind those people are operating against the Lord, against innocence, against kindness, against self-determination, against substance and wisdom in a lot of cases, you understand why it's very easy to predict his wrath coming. And that's what I want people to really be careful not to ignore, or not to overlook, or not to expect that would not be possible. You know, to a severely lesser degree, I think about my basketball team and how certain we were going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, and how far away we were from actually being able to compete with that team. Unprecedented stuff. Everybody you listen to told you the Lakers are going to win in 5. It was a whole slogan on all the big major platforms, and at the end of the day, the Lakers were actually the team that ended up going home in 5 games. Unprecedented things could be possible just because you don't see it, and just because people don't necessarily agree that it's coming, just because nobody's actually saying it, doesn't mean that it won't be your reality at some point. We got to be out on the lookout to be prepared, but to understand that preparation is not enriched in fear and paranoia, but enriched in a closeness with God, which will bring about the proper tools from which to use in that regard. Faith, character, preventative measures. You know, he will tell you how to handle that, how to feel about that, where to stand when the storm comes, so that you can be out of the way. This is the understanding that the Lord is putting in my heart and share with you today. That is, a lot of times when we tell people to be ready for something, they approach it with tools that the Holy Spirit would not have given them to handle it. They may be aware that something's coming, but when they start to prepare for it, they bring to themselves the wrong things. When they start to prepare for it, they position their mind in a way that welcomes more pain and stress, rather than the preventative measures and the safety tools that they need. We may have all been told that a storm is coming, but maybe not everybody knows to bring a jacket and bring shoes and get the umbrella. Some people may have been taught how to handle a storm in an entirely different way, or may have been given things that don't have nothing to do with preventing the storm. They're prepared for a storm to come, but the way they know how to, not the way that actually perfects and protects against that storm. And this is what I've come to understand as well, which is why it's not just my position to say that I think that a storm could be coming. I'm here to say that we all need to figure out that we need to do certain things that maybe we weren't taught how to do in order to properly prepare for it. It's not the time to become fearful and paranoid. It's time to get closer to God and let Him tell you what energies to use. It's time to get that relationship going. Keep that relationship tight. Get your character in order. Win your battles against whatever would otherwise distract you or move your mind away from what it is that allow you to be focused. The alignment of whatever it is that ultimately you need to be, so that you can be right for what it is your role will be. Because you can know that a storm is coming, but do you know how to prepare for that storm, or are you going to bring yourself the wrong things? And so that's what it is that I'm here to share with you guys. Some of us know the storm's coming. A lot of us don't know what the heck to do in that regard. And we're going to make it worse with what it is we were taught. So, yeah, man, I believe that a storm is coming. I believe the Lord's wrath is imminent, not based on Him telling me that His wrath is coming, but based on the behaviors of man in current times. Just based on how they're operating in regards to this situation with this genocide. Children are dying. One of the main things that I was taught is the Lord doesn't want us harming His children. And it's not just that people are harming children, because people have harmed children throughout the course of time and paid for it, but that there's a society of individuals who are paying for it literally with their dollars, who are indifferent to it or not aware of it or not listening to the people who are telling them it's happening. That's what I'm concerned brings about the wrath. People in the dark doing dark things is just another Thursday. But people seeing it and not doing anything about it, not caring that it's happening, being self-serving in regards to how they approach it is what really, I think, can bring about the wrath of God. When people that he's counting on to stand up, people who proclaim that they love him and go to church and pray to him and ask for things for themselves, and when it's time for them to make any sacrifice at all as it pertains to putting what they have at risk and applying that faith in this area so that these kids can have an opportunity at a fair shot at safety, we leave them in the dust to face things that we are fearful of. Some things, unprecedented things that we don't even know exist, from which to suffer. We leave them to face so that we can keep our comfort, so that we don't have ourselves be, at the very least, on the outside looking in as it pertains to certain things we want to be a part of. We will let them suffer unprecedented pain so that we don't lose our job when your resume can get you another one. These are the type of things that we are doing in the Western world. People want to be so intentional on helping themselves, so vindicated when they do something that they're proud of, but see no pride in putting down what it is that they're doing so that people don't have to suffer, so that children don't find themselves in pain. Some of these people, a lot of these people are parents with their own children who, if we're faced with this madness, the first thing they would say is, where's the humanity? Condemning and cursing people that are doing the same thing that they're doing right now, being indifferent to the suffering of others, and kikiing with the people who ultimately are upholding that suffering, because it's within their best interest for whatever it is they think they're trying to do so. And you don't think we're angering the living God by behaving that way? Agreeing to behave that way? I understand that the devil's putting pressure on us to be quiet about what's going on there. I understand that the lobbyist groups from this country are ultimately buying up our politicians and making, all types of laws to try to keep us from being able to speak out against them. And I understand that they're sending a good portion of our tax dollars for every little thing that these perpetrators against these children ultimately need to succeed in not only perpetrating against those children, but just any other damn thing that they would need to live their lives perfectly fine. Completely and utterly compromised by this entity that is looking to do the worst things in the world to people who don't have anything. And a lot of us have been taught to respect that for which our country's government does, no matter what it is, because under the flag, we are patriots. And what I'm telling you is, God did not intend for you to be so intentional on waving and respecting the people who control everything to where you're waging war against God in adherence to the power that they wield over you. I'm here to tell you that I believe that a lot of us may suffer for not adhering to them, but not nearly as much as we're going to suffer for doing so. Not nearly as much as those who are on the wrong end of their gun are going to suffer as we continue to support them pointing it at those people. This suffering is imminent for all of us for allowing it to happen. Because when a child cries out to God that they've lost their entire family, or when a mother cries out to God that she's lost 5 of her 6 children, and the others on life support because of something that we paid for, it ain't gonna be no, oh God, I mean, they control so much in my country. I could have lost my job, God. They were making laws, they would have threw me in jail, God. They would have deported me to a different country. I couldn't speak up. They ain't gonna want to hear none of that. God ain't gonna want to hear none of that. All the police, they put the riot gear on us. Oh, they couldn't. He ain't gonna want to hear any of that. I promise you. Your God ain't gonna want to hear none of that. All he gonna want to hear is, Lord, I did my best. I suffered some. Give me eternal life. I didn't want those kids to suffer, so I did what I had to do. That's literally all he wants to hear from anybody alive today. I use my voice and my platform to speak against that for which was evil, regardless of who was coming down on me, telling me not to. That's all he want to hear from me. I was not fine with him doing that. I had children in my family. I had children in my circumference. Maybe I had children of my own that I didn't want to see suffer. So I certainly wasn't going to let someone else's kids suffer. I wasn't so intent on praying for myself. I prayed for them. I wanted them to be okay. And I was willing to put my neck out there just like I was ready to put my prayers out there, because at the end of the day, it's my responsibility as a grown person to protect children. That's all God wants to hear from any of us. I understand that, quote unquote, the man is doing everything he can to try to deter that and put fear in our hearts in regards to that and make us think of ourselves instead of thinking of others. But at the end of the day, that man is bankrupt and cursed for everything that he is doing in this era and everything that he's done that we don't know about. He's cursed. So following him, whether by choice or by force, is going to lead you to the cursed path that he's on. And you need not forget that there are things worse than death in this life. And that he's trying to bring that upon people that don't deserve it. Amongst death as well. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. So when I say a storm is coming, it's not because I didn't heard some whisper in my ear from a special energy and voice telling me that the Lord is ready to do something. No, I'm just looking at how people are acting. I'm looking at what's happening out here. And I know my God. I know him well. He's not happy with none of this crap. He's not happy with all of it. And it ain't going to be only those who are trying to make it happen that he's going to be angry with. He's going to be angry at those who were cowardice and adhering to those who were trying to make it happen in the way that most of us right now are doing it. There's a new documentary out. I forget the name of it. I think it was put on, I don't want to say the wrong name, so I'm not even going to say. I'll figure it out and come back to you guys. But it's a new documentary out. And they were screening it at UCLA. They're screening it at UCLA, where I was born, the UCLA Medical Center, UCLA, the school. They're screening it. And while these peaceful people were sitting in some space on the property of UCLA, they enacted the riot police to storm those students. They, mind you, these are students. These ain't private people on the property. These are students on the UCLA campus who go there and likely pay for tuition there. And they brought those people out while they were sitting there quiet watching a documentary, a movie, and forcefully handled them like protesters. Can you imagine sitting somewhere in a quiet space with about 70 people watching a movie, and all of a sudden riot people come out and tear you down just because you're sitting there watching a movie? Just because that movie tells the truth about the evil that their bosses do? You know, I asked myself, I was like, Lord, why is it that there are so many people who are willing to do their job in that situation? Riot police who are willing to do their job in that situation. You give me, the mind I have, orders to attack people watching a movie of any kind. And I'm going to ask you, what is wrong with you? Which is why I was never going to be any good at being a soldier. But then, once again, not a voice in my head, but a comment in the comment section basically answering my question. It said because they target individuals who are literally too stupid to do anything but follow orders. People whose IQ and brain and spirit are set up in such a way to never question the orders that they're given, but to go forward with the orders no matter what. And they've done a fantastic job of identifying the type of people that they can do this to, no matter what. So, at times I've been saying on this channel that there are going to be points in time where people who are enforced, who are meant to not enforce this or meant to not allow certain things, are going to have to be faced with the should I do this or should I not. But the reality is a lot of these people who are in these positions are not wired to even do that. Their mental makeup is robot. Follow the training, and I'm thirsty to fight. That's literally the only two real thoughts in a lot of these people's mind that they hire to do these jobs. Where's the action? I have aggression. I want to hurt someone. Literally, that's all it is. And so when you consider that, you understand that no matter what it is you're trying to uphold, you're going to have army men, gunmen who are ready to fight to uphold whatever it is, the protocol that you place in their heart and in their minds to follow. You could be upholding genocide, killing children, and there are going to be some people who are following orders. That's the truth. They target people who are not well. And they put them in these uniforms and they align them with people who are going to do whatever, however, forever, to the death. And they follow whatever protocol is provided them, whatever training is provided them. It don't matter what it is. Y'all could be upholding sexual assault. They will kill whoever's coming against you while you're trying to do that. They will brutalize whoever's coming against you. I kid you not. That's what came to mind. Don't be fooled anymore by what it is I said, that they're going to be sometimes when the army ain't going to fight for these causes because these causes are too unjust. There's always going to be some army men who are going to be able to whisk away all logic, to uphold whatever the agenda or whatever the program is, whatever the mission is. They're going to uphold it because they ain't smart enough not to. In a lot of cases, they're not well enough not to. And this is why I'm telling people who have a conscience, don't worry about joining no army, don't worry about joining no Navy, don't worry about joining no military, fam. They don't need you. You're not even wired to survive that. Because the moment you grow a conscience, you put yourself at risk, surrounded by people like this. If that's who you got watching your back ain't covered. Because the moment you stop being on protocol, they gonna treat you like the enemy. And you're gonna come up missing. I'll tell you this, man. God put this in my heart for a reason, man. Because a lot of us have been raised on G.I. Joes. A lot of us think we want to be soldiers. A lot of us think it all about all those perks that they come with. Take care of your family, for which I benefit from, obviously. But that I benefit from it doesn't mean that I don't see what is wrong with how they operate and what's wrong with some of the things that they're upholding. They're upholding horrible things right now in this world. These armies, they're allowing some of the worst things in the world, and it's in our face now. That's what we need to understand. It's in our face now. It's not just hearsay. It's not just me talking. You can turn on your Instagram right now, get you a little Instagram account, and you're going to see all of that. You can get you a little Telegram account right now and see everything I'm talking about. This ain't the time to join the army. This ain't the time to join the Navy. This ain't the time to be all you can be in the army. Nah, I'm telling y'all it's not. Because the people who control the people who are giving you your orders are sick. They're sick, yo. They're sick. And if you're following orders for them, you best believe you're upholding something wicked. This is a fact. I'm not confused. I'm not wrong about this at all. I am paying very close attention to what's going on in that regard, and I'm telling you that's exactly what it is. Now, if we get some real leadership in here, get some people on the up and up who ain't afraid to tear a little bit down to fix the whole thing, then you could be all you can be in the army and feel like you're upholding something that's good for your people. But right now, if you join any of that crap, and you're essentially upholding genocide. That's exactly what it is at this point. And as I said, they are attacking students. who are watching documentaries telling them the truth about what's going on in these circumstances. Because they don't want those students to see what's presented in those documentaries. As if everybody who's watching them documentaries don't already know. They want so bad to force the world into aligning with the slaughtering of the Palestinian people. You can never make people okay with people suffering before their eyes, friend. Not anybody with a conscience, not anybody with a brain, not anybody that was raised in a household that had any morals or standards to it as it pertains to humanity. You can't teach us how to be fine with this. You could teach us how to be afraid of you, and that's what they're trying to do at this point, so that we won't stop you from doing this. So that we won't hold you accountable for doing this, so that we won't protest or divest our funds away from you. That's what they're trying to do, is trying to make it impossible for people to have the courage to protest things that are awful in this world. They want to make it difficult for you to be able to stand up against it. Just like they did when things were bad in the 60s in this country. It's how they're trying to do to people who stand up against the Palestinian genocide. But it ain't just that. It's that they are so far up the behinds of those who are doing it that they want you to support it. They want you to have a heart for them as they continue to exalt themselves and slaughtering children and stuff. And you wonder why I come to you and say that there's a storm coming. There's a storm coming because these people are welcoming it into their lives. They're welcoming it into all of our lives by way of this ungodly practice, an ungodly intention. They are definitely welcoming a storm our way. And they're going to try to pass 1 million laws to make it absolutely illegal for me to say what I'm saying, so that they can get away with it. So that the things that I saw can be considered just, so long as it's pointed at the people that they intend to point it at. Babies, half of their body gone. People burned alive. Emaciated people who've been starved to death. What exactly are you doing? What is she doing? Now, don't back up on me, ma. Hey, I'm gonna wait on you. You are absolutely... Are you okay? You okay? Jesus Christ, you literally backed into the lady. Or slammed into her. Man, people gotta get off them drugs, bro. That's another thing. Get your head on straight, people. Stop taking these hallucinogens and all of these different things that they give you. Try to deal with your pain and stuff like that, man. We got to find organic ways to treat ourselves, man. They're turning us into the zombies that I'm discussing. Some of this stuff that's meant to make us feel better, it don't actually do that. It just makes you more reckless and careless. That woman was at a complete stop. The woman behind her ran into her back. I watched the whole thing right in front of me. Well, no reason for her to keep her put her foot on that gas at all. She was looking forward and everything. And this is why I'm like, yo, man, drugs, distractions. We have got to purge these things out of our lives so that we can get into action about the things that really matter in this world. Stop living in la-la land trying to deal with your pain and your stresses. Stop trying so hard to get high. Turning into a zombie out here that don't care about nothing. Ain't interested in nothing. Ain't cognizant of much. Trying to cope with yourself, you turn into a mush. Get a relationship with God to help you with all that. Ask Him to give you the strength to deal with all that, so you don't need all of these crutches that ultimately turn you into someone that's not sharp. That's what I want to say to all of us, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. And people know a storm's coming, but don't have the right tools or don't have the right practices from which to prepare for it. Some people don't know the storm is coming at all. Some people don't know there's a threat at all. But there are other people who understand that they just bring the wrong tools to the fight. I assure you, everybody, we all can get closer to God. I'm not asking for destruction of my enemies anymore. I'm asking for instruction for my enemies. And if my enemies are smart enough to receive that instruction, they're going to be on the right path just like anybody else who would be. These are the type of things that we need to start doing to win the war against us. Bring the right tools to the fight. I can't fight fire with fire. I can't fight aggression with aggression. I can't defend myself by willing myself the warlocks and demons and all different types of stuff. That's not winning the war. You're not winning the war. You're engaging in the behavior of the enemy the way he would want you to. You're not going to win nothing that way. You got to do the opposite of that. This is chess, not checkers. And I'm not saying turn the other cheek and let somebody sock you in the face. But I am saying be prepared to not even be in that place. Don't be there for them to sock you. Bring the right tool to the fight. Follow the right people so that you know what to bring to the fight. Follow God so he can lead you toward those people. This is what I'm saying. Your relationship with God is your best tool. Not your drugs, not your aggression, not the cultures that these people keep selling you in this capitalistic world. None of those things are going to actually help you with what you truly need, man. None of it. If anything, it's just going to make you a mush or make you a weapon for the army or of the enemy and all different types of stuff like that. This capitalism, this desperation, this fear of poverty, and this thirst for soft life, all of that type of stuff is going to lead you down a path of destruction, or lead you down a path that has you leading others to that path of destruction. It is no good. So that's really what I got to say, man. I don't have all the answers, but I know where I'm going to get them, and that's hopefully what I can share with you. My name is Bdf 44. I thank you all for watching.